Our jump squats are a great plyometric move that is working on the explosive power in our quads, glutes, hamstrings, calves, and it is also a great move for maintaining or building bone mineral density because of that impact. If you are somebody that needs to avoid impact exercises, you can come up onto the toes on this movement. So coming up onto the toes and then back down instead of adding in that hop. But if you are able to, I want you to add in that hop on this movement. It can be done with body weight just like I demonstrated, or it can be done with added weight to where you're holding that weight against the chest, going through that same movement. Biggest things to remember on these ones. Number one, you should know how to properly perform a normal squat or a goblet squat. If you do not, go watch those demonstration videos so that you can get the fundamentals down for these ones. Biggest things to remember is foot positioning, about hip distance apart. We're squatting down as we push those hips back like we're sitting down onto a chair. We're not coming forward like this, putting strain on the knees. So keep your posture as you push those hips back, getting down nice and low, and those feet are staying flat on the floor. That is the basic summary of the squat. However, go watch one of those videos for a little bit more in-depth analysis of those. You should be able to perform that movement correctly prior to this. What we're going to be doing is we're going to get it down nice and low in a squat, just like I demonstrated. We're going to explode out of the bottom, jump off of the ground, and then as we land, we are immediately going to go back into that squat. So, other than mistakes made on just not being able to perform a normal squat prior to this movement, the number one by far mistake made on this one is not going back into a squat as soon as we land. So correct way, if you're watching here, correct way, exploding on up, landing, going nice and softly. As soon as I'm touching the ground with my feet, I'm already bending the legs, going back into that squat. That is the correct way to perform this movement, because you are transferring all that energy, all that momentum coming down as we land into our muscles, into those glutes, those hamstrings, those quads. Those muscles are slowing that force down and absorbing it. The incorrect way to perform this movement is doing that squat, hopping, landing hard like this, and then going back into a squat. And what that's doing is that's transferring all the forces coming down now into your joints, transferring it into the knees, transferring it into the ankles, and that will wreck your joints if you keep that up. So remember, you should be landing softly, going right back into that squat. If you have trouble with getting used to landing softly, start off by barely hopping off of the ground. Start off by barely coming off of the ground and going right back into that squat. And as you get more comfortable with that, as you get stronger at that, you can start progressing to hopping higher and higher off of the ground. So remember, make sure you have the fundamentals down for a squat first, and then focus on landing softly and making this one fluid motion before you start to progress up in the height that you are jumping.